It's time to pop the top off with Pub Talk, and we're back today. It is November 5th, 2022, and college football is on a top three matchup between Tennessee and Georgia. Is right next to our faces here in the pub. We're going to talk some college football, but first, the MLB season is coming to a close. The World Series action-packed Phillies and Astros? Question mark, huh? Are going to try and take it to a Game 7 tomorrow night, or we could be ending it here tonight with the Astros taking home the World Series. It's just a piece of metal. But then we're also going to break down some NFL action for you. I know it's been a little bit since we stepped back into the set here at the pub, but don't worry, we're back here this week. But before we get into all that, Pub Talk is brought to you by Route 11 Chips. Route 11 Chips, the best chips here in the Shenandoah Valley with great flavors such as barbecue, Chesapeake crab, and salt and pepper. 25 plus years of being in the business has led to some damn fine chips. So make sure you check out your local food stores to grab your chip bag today. All right, let's do this. Back. I know it's been a couple weeks, but we're back at the pub right now.
Yes, we are.
Let's go ahead and get right to it, though. The baseball season is about to end. It could end tonight, or it could end after tomorrow night. We'll have to wait and see. But it looks like the Astros might take it home with the way that they've been playing lately. 3 in a row for them now, and so, 2 in a row now for them to take a 3-2 lead.
Took 2 out of 3
at the last couple games, and they've been playing very well. I think it was a fluke after the first game, though. You know, they were up 5-0, and then the Phillies marched back in to.
Well,
take
but
it
that's
6-5.
what Philly represented this baseball.
Oh yeah,
playoff.
the underdogs.
They were the last ones to
team.
get in, and they made a run at it. And in the grand scheme
I'm not
of
saying
things,
that they're not good, but yeah.
you know how many times, and for anybody that's ever listened to our show, we've said it 1,000 times. It's not how you start; it's always how you finish.
Well,
and so, in this case, kudos to Philadelphia. Good for them. Good for Bryce Harper. Freaking Schwarber. I think that those guys have changed the culture of Philadelphia, especially for a bunch of young guys that they got.
but it ain't over yet.
Yeah. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it is.
We've seen crazier things
Yep.
like the Washington Nationals pull off a stunner against a team like Houston.
Wild card. Come back and freaking win it all.
So it is possible. This Philly team absolutely decimated Atlanta. They absolutely put them through.
Well, they took out.
And then they went on to take out the Padres, who would beat the Dodgers, the best team in the NL. And
Best team in baseball by record.
Okay, yeah,
but not the best team. They were not playing that well.
That's why I said the NL
Yeah,
at the time.
yeah. Well, best record in baseball, but not the best team in baseball.
Then they beat a
certainly.
Padres team in Philly in a rainy, ugly-ass weather game. Bryce Harper, I lost my shit when he knocked off that two-run homer at the end of the eighth. And it was beautiful to see that.
Just the look on his face, too, that smug look. I used to think he was a really arrogant guy, like, he always out to prove. You know what? He has nothing to prove to anybody. He's about as good as baseball player. He might be in the top 5 baseball players in all of the league. But he's not on the
field. He is a designated hitter. But
I get it, but he's just as good in the field, too. He's got a freaking cannon for an arm. So I don't care how you look at it. He's a special baseball player. When I look at him and the injuries that he suffered and the type of player that Mike Trout is, I would put tool for tool. I would put freaking Harper with Trout. I mean, if you were to say 1 and 2
at the plate, sure.
Just he's an exceptional athlete. Period. So yeah.
So I'm still
you got Zach Wheeler.
Philly,
You got Zach Wheeler going for Philly tonight against Framler Valdez. Valdez is tough as nails. Tough as nails.
He pitched a no-hitter just a couple days ago. Or wait, no, that was Suarez? Was it? No, I'm thinking of someone else. But they pitched a no-hitter just a couple days ago, Houston's pitching has been on fire, and it's been what has given Philly a huge headache lately. Even though they've been able to get the home runs, getting on base has been the big issue for Philly. They just haven't been able to get on base, and it's been a big, huge
It was Christian Javier.
Javier pitched a combined no-hitter for the first time in World Series history, I think it was.
Combined
No-hitter.
I think they said something about the closest thing to a perfect game since Don Larson's perfect game in the World Series. So, yeah, when you have a team with the hitting prowess that the Phillies have shown over the last few weeks of the baseball season, getting into the playoffs and then going on a tear through baseball, to get a no-hitter is, in my mind, that's nothing short of amazing to me. I'm not going to count Philadelphia out. You can't. I just think that baseball, especially this year, has kind of elevated itself to a new level. I think part of it has to do, and I've never disliked Dusty Baker just simply because when he played with the Dodgers, but he doesn't have a World Series ring.
Yeah, you want to see a guy like that.
I want to see a guy like that, except I want him to see him take his fucking rubber gloves off. I'm just kidding, but yeah, I want to see a guy like that win. I want to see a guy like Harper win. I want to see a guy like Schwarber come back and lead this guy. He's one of the guys I was listening to the announcers the other night, and they were talking about how Schwarber has changed the way they do things in that clubhouse, and the net result was ending up in the World Series. Just the way you go through batting practice, the way you carry yourself, all of the things that go into making a championship team. I wrote an article to myself about what it takes to be great. And one of the things that makes teams great is the relationships that they have with each other. And that they never rest on being the same. You have this title. Bryce Harper is this power hitter. He is X. He is Y. Noah Syndergaard, flamethrower. You know what I mean? Justin Verlander, power pitcher, 37 years old. Just unbelievable. 2-time Cy Young. Those guys aspire to never be the same. And I think that's the difference between what good teams do and what great teams do. When you can break the cycle of being the same thing and reach new heights, that's when greatness comes. And if you can teach young guys in their rookie, second, third seasons how to think like a champion, you know how that changes your franchise?
It's infectious.
Yes.
Not even just a franchise. Every single day, I see it every day where I work, is that I see some of our programs that I work with, they just don't have that itch sometimes. And I go,
right.
Guys don't get it. It is the greatest feeling in the world when you are a part of something that is winning, that you don't have to worry as much because you're just fucking winning, man.
Right.
I was a part of that when I was in school, and I try to relive those days every single day by changing the way that my area at work works, because I want to build that culture. I want to be able to tell my coaches and my staff that, we don't fucking play around here. We don't. No, stop it with this half-assed bullshit.
Right.
And get your stuff together.
Right. I found the article, and here's what I wrote. One of the last things I wrote. I don't mean to cut you off on this one, but it says the one key that separates good teams from great teams is that the great teams are based on relationships. There's a trust and commitment to each other, that your teammate, knowing that your teammate has your back and is going to do his job. He won't let you down because you won't let him down. And that's the essence of teamwork. I'm going to do my job. I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. And when I can't, I'm going to need your help, and I will accept your help, and I'm going to make the next play. You know what I mean? And I think that's what happens. You got a guy who comes to the plate. He's excited. The next thing you know, he goes down on strikes. And then somebody's in the dugout going, shake it off. You got to go out and we got to go play defense. And then the next thing you know, this freaking kid is diving into right center field, and he makes a shoestring catch that saves the fucking game. That's what great teams do. That's what great players and great teams do.
Well, we'll see if Philly can do it, because right now on the TV to the left of me, to the right of Coach, we have some good teams, some great teams we have a good team and a great team because playing right now. We have number 1 Tennessee versus number 3 Georgia. Man,
Georgia.
Tennessee has risen to the number 1 spot in the college football rankings. The college football playoff came out with their initial rankings this past week on Tuesday, and ranked Tennessee at number 1. They were ranked number 3 at the start of the week. They rose to number 1 after the college football playoff rankings came out. And I don't know about you, Coach, but I think that's a little disrespectful to the Dogs.
I think so too.
By the way, Kirby Smart stole it from Ed Orgeron. You can't tell me. At the end of every interview, all you hear is "Go Dogs." I'm like, you stole that, you motherfucker. You stole that from Go Tigers. Come on.
My whole thing about this is you are the defending national champions. I don't care that you had a 1-point win or a 2-point win. You have not lost, and you are the defending national champions. I don't give a shit what everybody else has done. How can you drop them down? That's ridiculous. You have not done anything. Tennessee has done nothing to replace Georgia as
until if they can beat them.
Yes, in order to be the king.
Them, you
in order to be the king,
assume the position.
Yes.
It goes back to a couple years ago when Clemson and LSU. I still thought that Clemson, regardless of how they played in some of the games, was the number 1 team. They were still number 1 because they had just went undefeated the previous season, won in the national championship dominantly against Alabama, and would proceed to go on and have another undefeated season and go to the national championship. But LSU this, LSU that, and I go, no, Clemson should still be number 1. They have not lost in 2 fucking years. They haven't lost. Prove me wrong, though, because LSU, one of the greatest football teams, that 2019 LSU team was one of the greatest football teams I've ever seen. And, yeah, they proved me wrong. But anyway, you're seeing that with Georgia, though, man. Like, are we forgetting who's on this Georgia team right now?
It does. To me,
I'm
looking this up, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. In the last 3 years, Tennessee's only won 18 games. 3 years to win 18 games.
Oh no!
Oh, right back to him.
No, he's still
he didn't.
out. Oh my God!
He got turned. Stetson Bennett got turned. Look at that guy yank him away and shove him away. And then you talk smack. I don't know. Talking smack's really good. I don't know that you can do that. That's not good. So CJ got pulled away with a phone call, and we're watching Tennessee, Georgia, and there's a big fumble, and Stetson Bennett's there to recover, and then all of nowhere it gets ripped out of his hands. Oh, it got punched out. It got punched out of the... And it's a mad scramble. Tennessee should have had it. Stetson Bennett has it on his hip, and then the guy fucking just wrenches it away. Damn. He should have had it. He has it in his belly, and then it just gets pulled out. Stetson Bennett's lucky his arm didn't get freaking broken, maybe dislocated. We're going to see what Tennessee does. Tennessee goes back onto offense. They're at the, 47-yard line here. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Uh-oh. Oh, man. You got to watch dipping your head like that. Anyway, so my whole thing is that 18 games in the last 3 seasons is what Tennessee has won. And to me, with that kind of 3-year background, I don't know how you say to yourself, they are now rated above the reigning national champion, the defending national champion. I just don't know how you can say that. I don't. And I'm looking up. Trying to do this since 2002. Yeah. I just don't know how you can do that when in the last 2 seasons alone, Georgia has won 22 games. 22 games in the last 2 seasons, and it has taken 3 years for Tennessee to win 18. If you were to compare them right on top of each other, I'm just doing this, CJ. 16 and 14 is 40 games. In the last 3 years, CJ, Georgia has won 40. Or wait a minute, 16 and 14 is 30.
You don't have to tell me
30
more
games.
about how much
30
of a
games
joke-
in the last 3 seasons. So they've averaged 10 wins per season, including their 14 and.
You don't have to tell me how much of a joke Tennessee has been the past couple of years, especially
Yeah.
with the hiring last year of Josh Heupel.
But
Josh
that's-
Heupel last year was not. When you think about
He was not the
candidates,
answer.
You go, come on now, really? But now all of
He
a
was
sudden,
7 and 6. 7 and 6. He had a winning record. You go back to Jeremy Pruitt, 3 and 7, 8 and 5, 5 and 7. There you go.
Anyway, though, but the Dogs. I mean, let's not forget who's on this offense, man. You have a two-headed monster at tight end. Brock Bowers is a first-rounder, 100% at tight end. Next year he will be.
Yeah.
He is 6'4", 240.
And he
He's
looks
a
bigger.
white boy though as well.
He
and
looks
he-
bigger to me, though. He looks bigger.
He looks ginormous. I'm not
Look at
saying
that
that Tennessee.
tackling.
I'm not saying
You know
that
how important that
Tennessee
is right there.
can't match
Just
up.
that play right there. That ball in the seam right there, where they make that tackle, and that freaking safety screws down, and he freaking makes that tackle. You know, look at him retrace his steps, get downhill, and then boom, he locks up the tackle, not a single yard extra. That's special tackling. And that's what great teams do. Oh, look at that.
It's beautiful. Oh,
No, it's got to be a hold. It's
On
got to be a
offense,
hold.
you think?
Got to be a hold.
Anyway, Coach, we're getting on.
The only
track
thing he
here.
had his hand on, he did have his hip wrapped. Oh, there you go.
Oh,
false
dead
start.
ball.
Okay. Yeah.
Here's the thing, though, right? Is that Georgia? I see it as disrespect just because, like,
I do
when,
too.
When I think about, also, I go Ohio State is better than Georgia. Ohio State. Who have they beaten? Oh, they beat Penn State. Penn State can go suck an egg. Okay, that's what I think about Penn State. Ohio State has not beaten anybody, and we'll see how this Michigan game goes. Because last year, let's not forget that Ohio State got throttled in that
Associated Press, the AP Top 25 has Georgia listed as number 1 and Tennessee as number 2, and tied should be number 3 is Ohio State. I just don't know how you put Ohio State. The college football playoff rankings currently are number 1 Tennessee, number 2 Ohio State, number 3 Georgia, number 4 Clemson. I just don't see that.
Okay, and even Clemson as well,
Yes.
I go, is a very... I think that Michigan is actually better than Clemson.
I'm telling
They
you
have
what,
a quarterback.
Alabama's better than Clemson.
But I'm saying they have a quarterback controversy
Okay.
on their hands. The kid got benched. Uncle Lele got benched. And I'm saying, though, that, like, you're saying that they're still better than Michigan? You're saying that they're better than Alabama just by record? Just by record? That doesn't sound good to me, man.
Yeah.
Especially if this is the only way. This is, again, the bullshit at the highest level of college football that only 4 teams get a chance to play for a national championship.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
fucking
I mean,
bullshit.
and I don't. I think
How does
people
that make
do.
any
I think people
sense?
do it to stir up shit because if you compare the top 15 teams, the top 15, let's just say the top 10. Once you get past the top 4, or top 5, Alabama from 6 to 10, and in both cases 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. I don't know how AP ranks freaking. I don't know how the AP poll ranks a 2-loss team above a 1-loss team. I just don't see how you do that.
Especially, you also look at the other teams that are in the top 10 as well. USC, Oregon are ranked right above and below each other right now. And then, I mean, UCLA is completely fallen out now after we talked about them and hyping them up. They got decimated by Oregon.
Well, they're ranked number 12 by one and number 10 by another. So, I don't know. I don't see how you do. I don't see how any team, I don't care what algorithm you're using. I don't care what kind of bullshit logic you're using. To rank Tennessee and Ohio State above the reigning national championship is nothing short of a fucking
They
joke.
got
It's
They
just-
got to do it for ratings, right?
I
Because
guess.
that's all ESPN
I
ever
guess.
fucking does.
I guess.
They just
I
do it
guess.
for the ratings. Well, let me ask you this though.
Let
real
me
quick.
answer you.
Well, let me ask you this. What about TCU? I mean, let's just think about it. They have truly beaten like top teams in their path, and not even just beaten them. They've beaten the shit out of them.
Yeah, I see Tech.
But
TCU.
do you think that they don't have a chance in hell for a national?
My only thing is, how do you keep them out if they finish undefeated? How do you keep them out? Because at some point, somebody's going to lose here. What do you do with Tennessee and Georgia if one of these loses?
It would be a laughing stock if last year we saw Cincinnati be at number 4, and this year TCU go undefeated and a 1-win team getting over them,
Right. Now, granted, they've
or a 1-loss team.
They've
sorry.
played a couple of teams. You know, at the time they beat number 8 Oklahoma State. Okay, they were ranked. Oklahoma State was ranked. We found out who they are over the last couple of weeks.
But they beat them.
Yeah, I get it. You know,
That was still when they were riding high, and then they've lost momentum.
They scored 55 against freaking Oklahoma. They beat a so-so Colorado team. I don't even know who the fuck Tarleton is, but they destroyed them as well. They beat a 19th or top 20 team in Kansas, and Kansas has fallen off a little bit.
Kansas was undefeated at that time.
At one time, yeah. And then they went on, and they've beaten 4 ranked opponents all in the top 20.
I say that's a pretty good resume.
And then they just took down Texas Tech today. So, you know, their big test is going to come next week because they're going to get Texas.
Okay, fair enough.
And then they have to be, and you know what? This is what's happened with other teams as well. Is that's a legitimizing game. You're legitimately 9-0, 10-0. You deserve that shot. You deserve that spot. So, oh wow,
What a ball by Stetson Bennett.
wow.
Down to like the 30-yard line.
Yeah. Look at him holding too.
I think there's
Look
a
at that.
flag. No, I think there's a flag back at the offensive line.
Oh, and he chopped him right before he caught it. Look at that.
I thought there was a flag.
Uh-oh, the crowd reacted. No, apparently not.
Oh, I thought they were.
Maybe they picked it up.
I guess so.
Maybe they picked it up.
All right, you
Wow.
need to go replenish yourself, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, I mean, look, Tennessee. I have a friend who's a big Tennessee fan, and you know she's very happy to see how Tennessee is doing, but you know she's very nervous about this game. And I go, look, if you want a big time team, if you want Tennessee to be a big time teams have to beat top big time teams at their home stadium, especially because for those of you not watching, it's in Athens, Georgia, and it is a
100%.
sea of red.
You have to go to another team's place and legitimately beat
Everything's
their
played
ass.
at the top level. It's played in a neutral site. When you go to the SEC championship game, that's in Atlanta. When you go to the national championship game, neutral site. You are playing at a half and half stadium in a random ass place. This ain't no hometown unless you're LSU.
And not even half and half, because you got people that just want to go to the national championship game. How is
This
that
ain't-
not a flag?
That's on. Oh my god. That's on Brock Bowers. But anyway, unless you're LSU, who had their national championship game against Clemson in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in Louisiana, it's a 60-minute drive for a 60-minute game. Anyway, college football right now is getting down to the end of it, though, already in the regular season.
I mean, this is
week number 9 already.
Week number 9.
Teams are 9, and both these teams are 8-0. So I think that actually I think it's week number 10 because bye weeks.
Right,
include.
bye weeks fit in.
So I look at that and I go, it's disrespectful to see.
Oh, on a line. Oh, he dropped
He
it.
dropped it. Damn. And there's
That's-
the
yeah.
other big ass tight end that they got. So every dude is just huge for Georgia. The dogs are out.
Look at him. He's freaking draped over his back, but that ball went right between his hands. My God.
Let's go to the NFL, though, because I think, though, that when you look at this NFL season, I'm kind of pissed, Coach, I was expecting a little bit more out of this NFL season.
Why?
It's a weird season, I
Why?
get it. But I don't see more than like 3 or 4 teams being the best teams in the NFL. I don't. Let's go.
I mean, you
ahead.
look at NFC South, and Atlanta at 4-4 is the division leader at 4-4.
Oh my God! White boy,
Cut it
run.
up.
All right.
Oh!
Tutty!
No, they're whistling it out. He's stopping the clock. Don't put your hands up there. Act like you've been there, son.
Anyway, when you
Did
look
they score
at
it?
how,
They didn't score
no,
a
they're
touchdown.
saying
It's first and goal.
And
Wait a minute.
He is
Oh, head! That's a
that's
touchdown.
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 The fact that they're calling
And that's head to head.
but I don't know if that's intent with targeting though, because he ducked his head down as well. Anyway,
Watch him dip his head at
Anyway.
the last second. Look at that! It
The-
dipped his head. That's the crown of the helmet, CJ.
the big thing though for the NFL for me is wait, what?
They're going to take a look
Oh,
at
okay.
it.
The big thing that I see with the NFL, though, is that let's take a look at the teams that at the preseason you're like, yo, these guys got some ballers. Or these
There's
teams,
only one that really, really stands out to the hype. Buffalo.
Oh, they are 100% on a revenge
Legit.
tour.
They're-
They are on a revenge tour. They don't give a fuck who you are. They are just, and you saw it week 1. And you've seen it every single week after,
You know-
except for that hiccup in Miami.
Right, but
But
still,
that's besides
but Miami's no joke either. You know, with Tua, they are freaking. And who would have thought us sitting here saying that Tua drives Miami? But he is. He's legit with them. So okay, hiccup, I'll get it. I'm telling you what, it is always good to lose early. Your chances to get into playoffs, losing late in the season, is also a driving force.
I think, though, even regardless of that, if they play Buffalo again at Buffalo, they will get destroyed. I'm telling you right now, this is what Buffalo needs after that hiccup in Miami.
Absolutely.
For Miami to go in the cold-ass weather up to Buffalo, where the Buffalo fans are showing off their hairy chests and going, I'm about to break 20 tables.
Bills Mafia.
Because Bill's Mafia is about to be loud when they come to town. Nobody,
And you know it's going to be freezing ass cold, too.
but nobody. We haven't talked since.
CJ,
They got it
They
back.
play in Buffalo December 18th. You think it's going to be a little chilly in Buffalo?
I hope so. Even though it's like 70 plus out still right now in fucking November.
And then they're
I'm
going to
getting
go
pissed
and rip
about
the
that.
ass out of the Bears on Christmas Eve.
It just, oh my god, it makes me so mad seeing how
They're
hot
gonna
it is right now.
They're going to
still.
get tested today. They're going to get tested tomorrow.
Who they got?
I just think that Robert Sala's got the freaking Jets. They're 5-3, dude. They're doing stuff the right way.
Even though, unfortunately, and I hate to say it, probably one of the best players in the NFL went down in Breece Hall. He's done for the season. What you have seen him do is take the pressure off of Zach Wilson, and now you've seen Zach Wilson not having that guy behind him go, well, fuck, man, now I got to go back to my roots at throwing picks now and just falling apart. Who am I going to hook up with my mom's friend now? Like, who's going to hook up with? Anyway, but the Jets, yes, sure.
The only person that's even remotely close has got to be Mahomes, because even though Kansas City has 2 losses, they're no joke, dude. They are tough out. They're just a tough.
Still cannot
tough
believe
out.
that they lost to fucking Indianapolis. It's just you're always bound for one. There's just always that one loss where you're like, how the fuck did we lose that game?
Right.
How did we lose that game?
Yeah.
And I look at that Miami game for Buffalo and I go, I think that truly just was like a hiccup game where like Josh Allen just he had to throw the ball so many fucking times and he was just out of steam at the end of it where I go, man, if they play in Buffalo again, I'm telling you, man, that's not going to happen. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. But Buffalo is one of those teams. Kansas City, you know, it irritates the fuck out of me how no one
I
can
can't
take
tell.
a page off of Kansas City. And no one will hire Eric Bieniemy.
How many times
No
have I said
many
it? How many
times.
times have I said it?
or either way, find a goddamn way to cover Travis Kelce. It's just those three things. They can't take a page out of their playbook. They can't hire their offensive coordinator to take the dude away from Patrick Mahomes, and they can't cover the white tight end. Kansas City just irritates me, but they do it so fucking well on offense. They are irritating to watch because you're like, why can't we do that? Why can't we? It's because you guys are all fucking soft. You guys play not to lose. While Kansas City, they play to fucking win every single week. They do. They just do. They see that their quarterback is a ballsy player, takes chances, whenever you got. He reminds me of Big Ben. He does. He reminds me of Big Ben back when he was young in his career. He does. He wants to throw the ball down the field. He wants to get it to receivers like Hines Ward. He wants to take chances down the field to his big-time receivers and also find his playmakers. You know what I see from Pittsburgh now? I see screen passes on 3rd and 15. I see fucking runs that go for 1 yard.
I can't stand screens.
None of that.
I can't.
And I see that in so many fucking teams as well. I know it's like, because you know who was Big Ben's offensive coordinator? Bruce Arians.
Well, here's one of the things that I've figured out with the NFL, and it's just maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's my 2 cents, but it doesn't matter. It's the same at any level. Your position on the field is everything. Your field position is everything to these teams, because they have high risk plays. Right, throwing the ball deep is only as good as the accuracy of the pass and the openness of the receiver. That's just it. So if you're going to take a push and throw the ball down the field on 3rd down, well, okay, that's no different than running a screen pass or some sort of half-ass draw or just running the ball. Because at the end of the day, today's punters punt the ball 50 net yards. So if you can flip the field, well, I call them give-up plays. Stop fucking giving up. Be more aggressive on 1st and 2nd down when you can be. Yes. And focus on. That's when play action works for me. That's what a freaking effective ground game does for me. Those are all the things I think you need to do.
That's when your defense goes like,
oh
we got
shit,
your back.
Right?
Like they got our back. And we put our faith in them. And I see none of that with so many of these teams that just take it so easy on the 1st and 2nd down. And then when it comes to 3rd down, it's like the defense is just like, I fucking knew it. Now I got to go back out there.
Hey, guess who's doing that? Guess who's been doing that for the last 3 weeks? Oh, that's right, Tampa. They're 3 and out Tampa. I mean, it's Tampa and out is what it is. I mean, they're atrocious. Freaking Tampa Bay was supposed to be one of the top-ranked teams. You got Tom Brady, and then now everybody starts talking about his divorce and this and that and the other. It's like, shut the fuck up. They got the same players. They still have the same players. Okay, is he distracted? How about somebody kick Tom Brady in the ass? I don't give a shit that he's a 22, 23-year veteran. Wake the fuck up, Tom. Some of us are freaking busting our ass and playing hard. Make the throw. Get out of your freaking divorce fog or whatever it is, or get the fuck out of the league if that's what it has to be. Because at the end of this season, if he retires, you telling me he wants to go out like this? He's playing like a fucking slug. It's just bad. Same thing with Green Bay. Green Bay.
Well, that's a whole different story though, because Tom got divorced. Aaron took all the money. Aaron stole all the money for himself because I'm the highest passer-rated quarterback in NFL history. I don't throw any interceptions. Well, guess what I can't do when I don't have anybody? Nothing.
I can't win. I can't win the big game. And even if I have a bunch of guys, I can't win that big game. I did it one time. And the last time I won the big game, all of my hair was the same length and I had no gray in it.
Great fucking call. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So
yeah, you know who he had back then? Man, he had Jordy Nelson, he had Greg Jennings, he had Donald Driver. 3, at the time, good fucking receivers. Because guess what those
3 of the best, they were top flight receivers. Jordy Nelson, Jesus. I mean,
no, I'm saying at the time though, whenever even
Donald Driver
next year, they went 15-1. You're telling me that those receivers weren't fucking good? Get the fuck out of my face.
Oh, I know. Valdez-Scantling and freaking Devontae Adams. Come on. And now that they're not there, what's happened? Aaron's getting pressure. His freaking offensive line is giving up sacks. He looks like a freaking average guy. He looks like an average quarterback. He just does. And well, you know how I feel about him and all the horse shit that he does with his team and his old cycle babble horse shit as he just talks monotone. He's like freaking I think he's trying to take a page out of Belichick's book, but he couldn't freaking hold Belichick's jockstrap in understanding the game and talking to the media. So it's just horseshit. Josh McDaniel? Are you shitting me? For the last umpteen years, you've been freaking under the tutelage of Bill Belichick, and this is the product that you put on the field? You're 2-5, and you have what is essentially a solid receiving core, a solid defense. You have all the workings of a team that should be 6-1, 5-2, not 2-5, not that horse shit. It's just ridiculous. I don't understand it. I can understand why Lovie Smith is 1-6 in Houston, right? I understand why the Texans are. I don't understand why you're 2-5 with the amount of money that you have in Las Vegas and the amount of talent that's on your team. It just fucking astounds me that that's what you get. I can see why Pittsburgh is in the situation they're in. I do. You look at them defensively without T.J. Watt, and they are a shadow of who they were with him. Now he's coming back, and he'll be back in the next week or two.
Yeah.
Back from the torn pec.
He's been activated for the 21-day pup list.
Okay.
To see if he is able to perform physically, but if not, he will be placed back on injured reserve. So he was activated last week, but they chose not to activate him on the active roster. So
yeah. You know, when you take a look at what Minnesota's doing, Kirk Cousins, their freaking defense, they're getting it done. They're freaking the Minnesota Vikings are getting it done.
It's weird because you would think that Minnesota would have figured it out a little bit ago because of the weapons that they actually do have.
Right.
I mean, their offense, they have the best young receiver in the game right now in Jefferson. Adam Thielen is a great number 2 receiver.
Oh, yeah.
Hell, even with Diggs, he was probably a good number 1. But anyway, and then, man, when Dalvin Cook is healthy.
Dalvin Cook, Jesus. What kind of freaking running back is that guy?
It was always up to Kirk. Mr. Kirk could not play in a primetime game and be at a 1 o'clock game.
And now you look at him, and he's just efficient. He's Mr. Efficiency.
Except against one team this year.
Okay.
No, I'm saying in that one team, I mean, regardless of what other people think, like they are the last undefeated team in the NFL. Philly is for real. Don't come at me with this bullshit about how they haven't beaten anybody. Well, in the NFL, things are different than college football. They just are.
Yeah, no shit.
And especially when it gets to a point where it's like, dude, you got to give up on this. Well, they haven't beaten anybody. It's like, yeah, they kind of have. They've beaten a Vikings team.
They dominated.
They've one loss right now.
Was it 24-7? They
24-8. Yeah, 24-7.
They dominated,
and it was 24-0 for the longest time. They beat, and that's their only loss. That's the Vikings' only loss is to that Philadelphia team.
You keep talking. I'm going to pull up their scores.
And then they also beat a Dallas team that has a ferocious defense. Right? They have the dogs. Let the dogs out.
They beat the Packers in Week 1, 23-7. Then they took a dump to Philly, and then at that time, nobody expected Philly to be 1-0, and even then, that was.
But they did beat Detroit.
Well, they snuck by Detroit, and I think they were trailing at one time. Detroit was leading that game.
38-35.
No, that was 28-24. Then they beat the Saints 28-25. Then they sneak by the Bears 29-22. They handle the Dolphins.
But that was with the backup.
Minus Tua. And then they essentially raced out in front of the Cardinals and then win 34-26. I'm going to be at that game tomorrow. I'll be broadcasting live from FedEx Field with the Commanders.
Man, George,
I'm not going to be broadcasting. I'm going to be drinking cold beer. That's what I'm going to do.
Broadcasting this beer into my stomach.
Yes.
But Philly, man, they're 8-0 right now, dude. They look so fucking clean. I fucking told all of y'all dumbasses, dude, you just give this kid time. This kid is a winner. Jalen Hurts is a born fucking winner. He's been a part of the winningest program in college football for the past 10 years. Under Nick Saban, he was recruited there by him.
And then Tua came along and he said, I'm going to take my ball and go somewhere else. And then he went to fucking Oklahoma.
Okay, but here's the thing, though, is that you look at Jalen Hurts, though, man. What a fucking play down at the 1.
Is he going to come up? Yes, he is. He's going to spot the ball at the 1.
Wow.
He did not give the
fucking
single
play.
arm flap for the freaking touchback. How far was that punt?
But Coach,
Look at this shit. Look at this shit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
it's out
clear.
100%.
That ball was going out of bounds anyway.
But here's the thing, though.
Look,
Coach.
it's going out of bounds anyway. But that just ensured that it was going out of bounds.
Here's the thing, though, Coach, about Jalen Hurts, though, is that, like, you just watch him play. He's so calm. He doesn't get overhyped.
Yeah, you don't see him get rattled and
stuff. He has a cool
stuff.
demeanor. He
Yeah.
just does. That's what I'm saying about a winning player, though, is that he's not phased. He's not anything out there.
Okay, but he has the same look when they're not doing well.
That's just how he is on game day, though. You have to think about it. There are players like that just, they're so fucking focused. They just are. They remain,
What's going on?
sorry. They just remain
What?
calm the entire time. No, I got a fucking email.
Yeah,
about
yeah,
something.
it's all
I'm
good.
like, yeah. So,
Oh, your mother said that Penn State's starting Sean Clifford,
Yeah.
and he got sacked on the first fucking play.
oh wait, I could change it to that
Yeah.
game right now. Let's see if they can handle. Oh my God, it's 7-7
Uh-oh.
against a team that got shut out last week. Indiana got shut out last week, people, and Indiana is tied 7-7 with apparently the 15th best team in the country. This is
Oh, Indiana's 3-5. Come on now, watch this.
like I said,
Oh.
they got shut out last week.
Yeah, but Indiana's within scoring range. Look where they're
No,
at.
that's what I'm saying, though, is that it's a joke watching this fucking team every single week, man.
Well,
sick and
we
tired
went
of it.
2 weeks ago. I went through a fucking rant about freaking James Franklin.
It's the truth, though.
He should be called Franklin Auto Sales because he's a used car fucking salesman.
Since we last talked, guess who they've lost to in two times in 3 weeks? Top 10 opponents in Michigan and Ohio State. They have lost to both of those teams once again. What else is fucking new, Coach?
Yeah.
What else is new?
That's the Franklin record. I've told you that. That's what he does. That's the product he puts on the field. And we talked about it. I should have counted them up. I'm going to do that. You freaking go on. I'm going to count up how many current players how many Penn State starters are there in the NFL. I'm going to look that up.
There's plenty, but those are individuals, Coach.
It doesn't matter. They all came in and around the time he was coaching there. And you can't tell me that in the last, how many years did we say? 8 years? In the last 8 years, how many fucking NFL caliber players you've had, and
You still haven't won it.
You haven't won shit. Right now you're 11-11.
You've won one Big Ten championship. You've won one Big Ten championship, and then you went on to the Rose Bowl and choked that away against USC. And the only reason that you went to that Big Ten championship is because you blocked a field goal.
There are a total of 44 Penn State Lettermen are currently on 25 NFL teams. 44 fucking players. Are you kidding me? And you're 11-11, and you went 8-6 and 7-6. Get the fuck out of here. 44 players from your teams are currently in the NFL. 34 of them have made the 53-man roster, while 8 are on the practice squad. One is on injured reserve, and one is on the PUP list. 25 fucking players, guys. 25. I don't know why that's not a big deal. You know what I mean? I don't know why that's not a big deal.
Because I'm not fucking shocked.
Yeah.
That's why it's not a big deal, because no matter what happens, it's still the same shit every single year.
Something big happened?
I think it was a defensive turnover.
Uh-oh.
I think it was it a safety?
I don't know. We're gonna
Or
see.
was it,
Oh, his arm is moving forward. Safety. Oh, it fumbled again. But can you fumble in the end zone?
Oh, that's a forward pass. Sorry,
And
I know there's a bunch
yeah,
of
yeah,
dead
yeah.
end.
No, there's
Yeah.
not. We were trying to listen to what the result was of that play.
I'd say that Georgia has to review
you can't
that.
tell me. Yeah, I think they have
That
to
looks like
review.
a safety. There's no way. I thought his arm was going forward.
No, he fumbles forward out of the end zone and gets recovered at the half-yard line right there.
I'm saying, here we go, Gene. Tell us how it is. You bastard. Why'd you have to
He's
leave?
down. He's down. That's a safety.
Oh, man. They're going to review that.
Yes, under review. It just went to it.
There you go.
There's a fucking safety, and then Georgia's going to get the ball back.
Remember, like I said, big-time team. If you want to
Yep.
be the #1 team in the country and disrespect the dogs.
That's what separates good teams from great teams, right
I know
there.
you say it like that. It's the dogs.
Dogs. Doggy. Doggy.
But yeah,
doggies.
Kirby, you stole that. Like, come on now. You really going to disrespect Coach O like that? You really going to disrespect him like that? Anyway, regardless of what you think about the NFL and who Philly has beaten, they are the only undefeated team. They are 8-0 right now. And to be honest with you, yeah, they do cool off sometimes in these games. But when they are cooking, dude, they're fucking cooking. You're telling me that you're going to stop their receiving core right now? Dude, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith are a nightmare. And not only that, they have one of the best offensive lines and one of the best tight ends in the NFL as well. And Miles Sanders is a dog as well. Their offense from top
Where
to
does
bottom.
Miles Sanders go? Where did he go to college?
That's right.
That's right.
And he only does after Saquon graduated.
Yeah.
He only played 1 year.
Yeah, you couldn't figure out how to use both of them on the field.
No, exactly.
Yeah. You probably would have won a national championship. No.
No, probably not.
You can't do it with two players, but you have through the time that you've been there, you've had 44 NFL caliber players on your squad. 44 of them.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm oversimplifying it, but that's just what I think. I'm just saying you are able to recruit the talent that, by and large, ends up in the NFL. Right? What'd he say?
I'm just saying. I think Hendon Hooker was throwing a forward pass, but that's just me anyway. But what I'm saying though about Philly, just stop bringing up fucking Penn State.
Yeah.
Is that top to bottom on offense, they are good. They really are.
Yeah.
And if they can find and guess what? A win is a win in the NFL. I don't care what you say. You say that about your team as well. Don't give me that shit about how you're like, well, we won. Okay, and that's what matters. Don't give me that shit. I know you guys do that. I know every team does that. It's like, yeah, we beat Tampa Bay. We shouldn't have fucking beat Tampa Bay, but guess what? We beat them.
Right.
You get out of there with a win.
Right.
Okay? And it's the same thing with Philly.
They don't measure the quality of a win. It just goes in the W column or in the L column. It doesn't matter.
Because guess what's going to matter is that if Philly gets home field advantage, I would not want to go to Philly.
Right.
I would not want to go to Philly where
they threw fucking batteries at Santa.
I would not want to go to Philly though with that crowd, with that fan base there.
Yeah.
I truly would not.
Yeah.
They are scary when they are at home. They just are.
And you play to your crowd, and you have a legit team. I don't know. Well, here's another thing, and this is the thing. This is what happens in the NFL anyway. Is that it all comes down to the health of your players. If you have a significant injury to somebody, a key player, you know how that takes the wind out of your sails. That's my 2 cents. If they stay healthy, they're legit. They're legit. They have a legit shot. Right? You have,
100%.
You have a couple of key injuries, and then your chances start to go, start to reduce themselves.
Like I said though, the NFL this year is really, really, really fucking strange, though. Because I look at this. Number one, your Bears, Coach, I think it's time to see that they made a bad decision. I do think that Justin Fields is not your answer, and I do think that your Bears have an.
All right, let me ask you this: if he was used in the same vein as the way Eric Bieniemy would use him, would that have improved it?
Okay.
Would that improved it?
But he literally overthrows everybody, Coach.
Yeah.
He doesn't make completions. He doesn't do the basics of what. What? They said it's the what?
They fumbled it on the half-yard line.
What?
Wow, that guy's clearly down.
I'm
not sure that.
Even the commentators are like, no way.
And the ref goes, I'm not going to take this one on the chin, but he's down. Oh, my God.
That's a terrible call.
Maybe the replay officials are drinking in New York.
It was just like, you know what? Fuck the dogs. Give it to the balls.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's ridiculous.
Your Bears, though.
Yep.
He just. I don't know though, Coach. He's not doing the basics of what.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna disagree with you because I was reading an article about the other day. In order to truly measure what his capability was, they had to get him another receiver. And what did they do?
They don't have anything.
Well, they got Claypool. They picked him up.
Okay, well, let's see that. Can he utilize him?
Well, that's the only way. Because here's what's going to happen. They're going to use him.
He ain't going to wear number 11 because that's Mooney's number now.
Yeah, Darnell Mooney. And Darnell Mooney's... is he a top-tier receiver? He's a good receiver. I would say he's in the low end of the top-tier guys.
He's like a Hardman from Kansas City. He is that speedy guy.
Yeah.
That is utilized in those specific situations where you need.
I think he has the potential to be a Devontae Adams, though. Right?
You get a turnover, you take a shot. Oh my God, he was so wide open.
Wow.
The dogs
Not
are
Devontae
thriving.
Adams. What? Devontae Smith from freaking Philly. Not Devontae Adams.
13-3. Sorry. Yeah,
Right?
go ahead.
I think he has that potential to be that guy.
You also
right?
have to remember that Devontae Adams, when he started out, he was like the third or fourth receiver. Because at the time, Jordy Nelson was the number one.
He was still there.
Randall Cobb was still there. You also had...
Now Cobb is back, right?
Now, yeah, Cobb is back, but he's injured now. But I'm saying, like, you had other receivers other than Devontae Adams back in 2014 when the Packers were still very good.
Yeah.
He was not the number one receiver.
I get it. No, I'm not saying Devontae Adams. Devontae Smith from Philadelphia.
Oh, Devontae Smith.
Smith. I think he has the potential to be more like him than anything
I
else.
thought you said Devontae Adams. Sorry.
I did first, and then I was like, oh, not him. Devontae Smith. Built the same way, very similar, same skill sets.
Devontae Smith is something special, though,
Yeah.
man.
I mean, he is. But different team, too. And if you were in the right system, he could flourish. And so maybe having Claypool take some pressure off of whoever they're covering with Mooney, maybe he gets a little bit more of an opportunity. But I don't disagree with you because I think the Bears are going to actually take a look at how well he does things in order to determine whether they draft a quarterback this year because they have 2 second-rounders, in the upcoming draft. Because you're right. I mean, as good as he was in college, he's got good wheels, but some of his decision-making isn't the greatest. I don't know.
I just look at what he was in college where, he only threw like 8 interceptions and like he was
surrounded by the best receivers in college football at the time.
But that's not what makes a good quarterback. It really isn't.
It's a system that he was tailored to play in.
What makes a good quarterback is when you are thrown into essentially your system again, but you don't have that top receiver around you. You don't have that offensive line that's going to surround you.
Yep.
I know I bring him up still constantly, but Ben, he's the most sacked quarterback in NFL history. And when I look at him, though, is that he was still that wild cannon who would still make throws down the field, and would
Well,
just
his
be,
arm's way bigger than Justin Fields.
But I'm saying though is that he was thrown, and they utilized him correctly to be like, Ben, he's fucking down there, just throw it, and he would, and he just would. I look at Pittsburgh now and I go, everything's just so fucking safe, man. Everything's just so. We gotta do this before
Right,
we
because
can get to this
because
step or
of the
this step.
conservative field position game that a lot of guys like to take.
It's bullshit. I'll never
And
understand.
you just saw Georgia after fielding the punt on the first down take a shot, right? You just dodged
Fuck it. We trust our defense, man. They ain't gonna do
Right.
anything.
Oh, he
And then,
stutter stepped him.
Did a white boy make a stutter step?
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't sleep
man.
on Scotty Miller.
Except it's not Scotty Miller. That might be Scotty Miller 2.0.
And that's McConkey. I wonder if
I
that's
just want
Phil
everyone to
McConkey.
know that I said it first here that you don't sleep on Scotty Miller. Because in that game against Green Bay at the end of the half, guess what happened?
Look at that guy outrun the angle. Jesus, that's freaking some speed. That's legit speed.
Tennessee needs a touchdown though if they
Yeah,
want
they
get
have
back
to
in this
answer.
game. Like they're just falling.
That guy
apart.
outran the angle of two defenders from Georgia.
He was fast.
No shit.
Dude was fast as shit. Anyway, just a couple more thoughts though from the NFL right now. What do you think about Cincy? What do you think about them? Because like they
I
looked
think
good, and then they against Cleveland, man. They haven't. Joe Burrow has yet to beat Cleveland in his career. He has yet to beat Jacoby Brissett and Baker Mayfield.
I'll tell you what, Jacoby Brissett played his ass off. So,
I get that.
Yeah,
I get that.
I
But what do you? This is the defending AFC champions, man.
yeah, but this is who they are. They freaking give up sacks. They have penalties. Jamar Chase is hurt. You know, when like you're going to find out who they are when they play at Carolina this week. That's who they're going to play, and so I don't think Jamar Chase is playing again. I don't think so. I'll be out for the year. I don't know. I'm too busy to freaking look that up to see if he is or not. But it doesn't matter. They just look like a shell of who they were last year. Like I don't know. You go with.
I think they have the best receiving core in the NFL. Like I do. I think you put Chase, Boyd, and Higgins together. I'm like, bro, top to bottom right there. You're like, shit. How are they not dominating right now?
Yeah, I get it. I'm a big fan of Ty Boyd. I think that he's a freaking exceptional receiver, and he's a great possession guy. He makes those hard catches and shit like that. But not having Jamar Chase hurts. Oh, they just fucking ran into him.
They're falling apart right now in the first quarter, man.
Catch
Tennessee
interference,
is just, this is just ugly right now for
Josh Heupel not able to stand the hype. Oh, he waved it. Fair catch twice. They settled in front.
Oh
He
my
ran
God, you
into.
dumbass.
That's fucking discipline
You're
right there.
absolutely dumb.
You can't do that. You can't do that to.
Absolutely
You can't do that to the freaking number one team. The team that's ranked higher than you or should be. Yeah.
And then on top of that, another team that I just want to briefly mention though is that Jacksonville, real quick, is that like they should have won that game in London. But Trevor Lawrence, do you think that he is the answer though there? The quarterbacks lately have just not been the fucking answer. Every quarterback that's been drafted, other than Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, fucking sucks. Like, they really do suck.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about these quarterbacks that play at these top-tier schools, but then you get some motherfuckers from Wyoming and Texas Tech, and these dudes are ballers. Like, they just are ballers.
Yeah.
But you get guys from
Oklahoma,
Clemson,
too. Oklahoma.
You get guys from Clemson. You get guys from Alabama. You get guys from... That's it? I'm sorry. You get guys from Ohio State.
West Virginia. Gino's doing okay.
But I'm saying, though, recently. And I go, these guys are just fucking awful. They just are. They can't do anything.
How about the 49ers going all in on fucking McCaffrey, and then they're 4-4, like they're laying an egg?
I don't think that they're laying an egg, though, because the Rams right now are pitiful.
The Rams are 3-4.
Let's go with the let's. I did want to talk about the West though, because let's think about this. Both LA teams are laying an egg. You have the defending Super Bowl champions below 500. They get destroyed. Oh my God! Oh, it's just a slaughter. Oh, it's a slaughter right now. Oh my God, it's just ugly. It's just ugly right now. You put this team at number 1. You fucking picked this team at number 1.
Well, that's what Georgia's doing. Georgiaa's playing like
oh man! Why did you put this team?
Georgia
at number
is
1?
playing like they were disrespected. Like you just fucking slapped them. Like you.
Because you actually thought that they were falling off. Oh my God, it's a slaughter.
That guy doesn't have his shirt on. What kind of fucking idiot does that?
Anyway. And then you have the Chargers, who are also in LA. Man, dude, the free agent acquisitions that they gained. Khalil Mack being on
Look
there.
at that.
Dude, number 0 just destroyed that corner.
7 yards on first down rush. On a half-ass toss sweep. 7 yards.
Anyway, Coach.
And it's still first quarter.
I was saying, though, that the Chargers and Rams,
Patrick's calling.
That, okay. Let's see what he's got.
What's up?
Hey,
We're doing the show.
Okay.
You're on right now. Yeah, we were talking about how the top tier NFL teams that were expected to be good, like Tampa Bay and Green Bay and freaking who else did we say? Tampa Bay and the Rams. The Rams are 3-4. San Francisco's 4-4. And all these teams that were expected to be top tier teams, and their quarterbacks are just freaking playing, and their teams are playing like shit. So.
Well, Tom Brady is going through a divorce, so I guess I'll give him that.
They got the Rams, who are 3-4 this week.
The rest of those fuckers, I don't have an excuse for.
Yeah. So what's up? What are you calling for?
No, I was calling to finish up our conversation.
Oh, yeah. I'll call you back. We're almost done with the show. I'll call you back. And if you want to, are you feeling good? Are you feeling better?
Yeah, my voice is...
Yeah, I can tell.
Finally come back.
Sounds like a bitch.
Yeah, I don't sound like I'm like a 70-year-old smoker anymore. So.
Yeah. Where are you at now?
Bethany and I are actually leaving a very good brewery, actually.
All right. Well, your mother and I are headed to the Mexican joint in a little bit. So if you want to join us there, you can.
Do you want to do that? Sure. Okay. No,
Yeah, our show's going to end in a little bit. Yeah, you're. All right. We'll be in touch. We'll call you so CJ can finish the show.
Toilet or get off the crapper. Let's go.
No. Hey, it's a great part to the show. So add this to the show really quickly. So we just actually, we're leaving a great brewery in Percival that we have not been to. It's called Harvest Gap.
Harvest Gap Brewery.
Harvest Gap Brewery. Fantastic.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Percival, Virginia. Harvest Gap Brewery.
Bethany said fan-fucking-tastic. They have so much selection, but it's not the
She actually drank the beer or the
Okay.
cider, though.
Yeah. Did she go beer or cider?
She got cider, but
okay.
I like your,
But
she
a good-
liked the beers that I got.
Okay. Well, that's good.
They had a big cider selection. Yeah, they had too big of a cider selection for her to.
To try the beers. Okay.
But I liked all the beers that you did.
Okay. Bethany, live on the air.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Big baby.
Yep. All right, we'll be in touch.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. Bye now. All right, let's finish.
All right, so I
Yeah.
think it's about time to go anyway. Anyway, the NFL season is weird. I hope that the Phillies can pull off the stunner. I hope that they can find a way to suck it up tonight. You get that to a Game 7, you got them on their heels.
Let's go,
You
Phils.
do.
fighting
Bring it
Phils.
home for Philly, because you know what that does for the Philadelphia Eagles? That makes them go, shit,
Wow.
let's go get it too, boys.
You're right. You're right.
And then maybe the Flyers will pick something up, but that probably won't happen.
Yeah, well, you never know.
But
You never
anyways,
know. Excuse me.
guys, we're going to go watch this good game. I
Yeah.
hope it turns out to be a
We're
better
gonna go
game
get
than
some
what it is
Mexican
right
food.
now. We're going to go shit our brains out. Until next time, peace out. Love
See you
guys.
guys.